Yeah,
Does
welcome
something
to the
work?
Tabletop Hot Takes, you know? This is
Oh.
one of your hosts, Giacomo, with Dakota, and we have Mr. Jimmy Kelly, Kimmy Jelly, if you will, about to do
that's me.
listen to some takes,
Yeah,
and see what everyone thinks about the newest edition of Kill Team, 3rd edition.
absolutely. Now, if you guys are interested in joining the live, if you guys have a hot take, you have to join our Discord server. Put those takes under hot take submissions or hot takes, and we will read those. And you also have to be in our waiting room, silent. And then when it's your turn, we're going to drag you in, and then you can explain who you are and explain your take.
Yes,
for everyone to see.
And while you're in the waiting room, please open up the chat and just go ahead and type your hot take in there, so that way I can quickly look at it and review everything and then bring you right over.
Okay, so Jimmy Kelly, it's good to have you on, man.
Oh, thanks. First time, I believe. I think it's first time on.
Yeah, well,
On the hot takes.
for hot
For
takes.
Yeah.
For hot
I
takes.
might have been drunk the other times. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, no, always good to be here, guys. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on.
I have a hot take.
What's your hot take?
SoCal's better than NorCal.
Ooh. I don't know if that's that hot. I think that's kind of
Oh, that's cold.
shit.
It's lukewarm.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like that's like a scientific fact now, so we're good.
With how many golden tickets SoCal now has because of All Valley Team Tournament, congratulations to Kel Team for sweeping All Valley Team Tournament and taking 3. But hey, I'm excited that everyone came down, and you know what? SoCal retook the title this year because Bats came and slaughtered everyone last year. So
They did. We
did.
got our revenge.
yeah. Which only
Yeah.
means that the East Coast is going to come and take it next year.
Those rat bastards. Those Brooklyn rat bastards. I know they're going to do it.
So,
Can we talk a little bit about AVTT? Is that allowed? Is that
Sure.
against the law?
yeah, we can do that, and then we're gonna. I think we're gonna pull in a person after that. But yes, Jimmy, what do you have to say, my friend?
Ooh, we should definitely pull in people. So I just thought it'd be fun to talk about some of the great takeaways from the event. I know on your last episode you talked about the hobby stuff, but it was really an amazing event. Like, one thing that unanimously I heard from all the different people I talked to was everyone I talked to, it's their favorite tournament of the year, their favorite event they go to. It really is. It's so much fun. I was genuinely worried, adding the golden tickets might make it more sweaty, might take away some of the fun of the good nature, the social aspect, and I really don't think it did. I think for the most part, everyone was just the team environment, all the groups. There were some just amazing experiences, and it really was the same great experience that was last year, which I can't say is better because last year was incredible. And it's one of those things that's hard to top. So, Dakota, thank you. You did an amazing job. You killed it. It was wonderful.
Yeah, well, we put life on hold for 2 weeks to make sure it
weeks.
happened. We have the book and we didn't make any content. Okay, we're making content now, everyone.
Community,
Yeah. We were going to, but the All Valley Team Tournament and the happiness of everyone coming took precedence, as it always should, right? I don't think that's
Absolutely.
a hot take.
It's bad either.
And I don't know if many people know this. If you're a friend of Dakota and you talk to him like every day, which is only like 80 of you, he talks to everyone. Yeah, it's so he talks to so many people on a daily basis. I'm like, how are you able? Like, I barely talk to my children. I don't know how Dakota keeps up with so many people on like a genuine way. But if you're not one of those 80 people, you may not know that Dakota has had like 2 to 3 hours sleep for like 2 weeks straight.
Yeah,
It's
been bad.
You're not wrong.
It's been bad.
Yeah. Now, by the way, Giacomo and Saya did a lot too. I just personally talk to Dakota every day.
He does.
It'd be weird if I talked to Saya every day. I don't know, but like
I
Giacomo, why don't we talk every day, Giacomo? What's going on?
I don't call you. I don't have the cultism the way you do, Dakota.
That's fair. I talk to a lot of people.
That's true. You're a normal human being, so that's normal. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Dakota practically killed himself for that thing, and it really came together really well.
Usually I kill myself for the All Valley and for AVTT. So, not AVTT.
Yep.
I just said it twice. LVO.
Yep.
Those are the two that we really go hard for. So,
Absolutely.
So first things first, I think we're going to pull in somebody. I like this take, so we're going to pull them in real quick and see what they have to say. If you could unmute yourself.
Hello?
Hello, who is this and where are you calling from?
This would be Kellen Foster calling from beautiful San Diego, California, here to hopefully make fun of Jimmy a little bit, but mostly
Oh,
I've got a
Jesus,
take.
this guy.
But mostly I think I got a take that's going to blow his pants off.
Okay.
Oh, not hard.
What's your take? What's your take, sir?
We've been hearing a lot about third edition, and everyone's saying elite meta this, elite meta that. I don't think they're going to be as good as
I already
everyone's
know where
saying
this
they
is going to go. I already know where this is
Oh
going.
gosh.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
It's going to be another S tier take. I swear to Jesus, it's going to be an S tier take.
Oh man.
Go ahead, Kellen. Get it out there.
Okay, so is Exaction Squad S tier again? I don't even think we know the rules for them yet.
Okay, so Dakota, am I allowed to swear on this show?
I would prefer for you not to swear currently. We're really early. We're like
right.
6 minutes
Also-
in.
Also, you're like a 12-year-old boy, so that's appropriate.
So is Exaction Squad S tier? Feathers, no. No.
Okay. All right. Watch it is.
Okay, please swear. If you're going to say feathers, just swear. Okay, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
basically, and obviously it's very early, but elites have gotten an extra wound. That's really cool. Counteract is a lot better now. That's freaking awesome. Elites are going to be pretty good. I do not think that they are going to dominate the meta as a lot of people think. And for a couple reasons. One is razor wire. Might be one little piece of equipment. But on certain boards, on a decent amount of boards, at least the boards that we have seen so far, a little piece of razor wire in front of a home objective makes that almost completely unassailable by like a Night Lord or something like that. So move blocking is a lot better in this edition. You can do it a lot more, and elites have kind of been susceptible to that. Secondly, stun grenades. Again, like some teams like Intercession and such, we don't know if they're going to retain their ignore stun, but some teams don't. Teams like Night Lords, Nemesis Claw, that's a big weakness of theirs, and some teams can really start spamming stun grenades, and they're a lot better now. And any team can take up to 2. And with the team like these kind of teams that might rely more on a strong second turn to come in and hit you like a hammer, having 2 of your guys at -1 APL is going to hamper that. And then do not mince my words here. This is not an S tier take, but I genuinely do think that Vespids are going to hold down elites pretty hard, just because of the army-wide AP1 and the fact that they can throw random damage all over the place. If your rail rifle doesn't kill you, what's up?
Is it an A+ tier take? Like, what's your take?
My take is Jimmy, you're mincing my words. My take is not about how good Vespids are going to be. It's about where the elites are going to be.
No, it's not.
I don't need.
My
I'm not
point.
required. I'm not required to make a statement on how good I think Vespids are.
Tut, little boy. Here's the thing. You just don't want to end up on another one of
Don't
Alex's
little boy
boxes.
me. Don't you little boy me.
Oh, it happened, boy. It happened. You don't want to end up on one of Alex Popov's little boxes. Admit it. You make a take. He's going to make that team, put it in a box, and label it S tier, and you're going to cry tears of bitterness every day.
Jimmy, that was my favorite moment of West Coast Championships.
It was so good.
I would be more than happy to be humiliated by Alex Popov again. Only by him. He's the only one that's allowed to do it. But I would be more than happy to have it happen again.
Okay. All right.
So firstly,
that's
we're going to stay away from universal equipment on this show for now. Okay, we're not going to talk about universal equipment. But what we are going to talk about is the fact that you say elites are not going to be as good as what you thought. Now, I don't know about you, but I've seen the Night Lord rules. And the Night Lords specifically say that Astartes can fight twice and shoot twice, and then, count. I mean, I think elites are pretty cracked, and I think that this is a relatively good hot take. Have you been trying to get games of third edition in, Kellen? Is this where you're trying to say like you've been crushing people with your Vespids, with your
I've had limited game experience, so I'm not going to say that this is based on comprehensive games. This is mostly based on
Considering the rules did just release on Saturday, and you were playing third edition or second edition all Saturday and Sunday. You would have had to get a game in on what, yesterday?
Essentially.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just based on the information that we have and just kind of theory and stuff, I think that a lot of the things that elites are still weakened to are present.
Okay.
Like, we know how stun grenades work, and we know that a lot of elite teams have trouble with stun. A decent amount of them do, like Night Lords, who don't have an answer to
Well,
Scouts
we only know about Night Lords.
Right, we don't know about anybody else.
From any other.
Right.
I mean,
maybe every from second edition rules.
Maybe every other elite team outside of Night Lords just ignores stun. We don't know yet. So I like that you're coming in hot with the Vespids are going to rule everything.
That's not my take. That's not my take.
He says that elites aren't going to be as hot as they're on.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
Chad,
fair.
don't let this happen to me. They are butchering my argument here.
I mean, I like.
You're trying not to make an argument. That's the problem. You're like, I'm saying they're good, not great. I'm saying maybe they'll do good or bad.
So
I think
say the rest here. Say the rest here. Say it.
I think Night Lords are going to be, or the elites are going to be like a good solid 6 out of 10. That's my take.
I mean, they only have 6 models out of 10, so that would make sense.
It's an inside joke. It's an inside joke.
Okay, I'm glad it's an inside joke because I don't know it's an inside joke, and I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think that people out there, the people who have been saying online that like elites are going to dominate the meta. And if you look at the kill op and you look at some of the things that we know, I think there's going to be things that hold them down, and it's not going to be like, Custodes at the start of
It's also not going to be Vespids.
Yeah, I totally agree with Kellen on this. I think people are overhyping them, but in reality, you should think about, like, he brings up the kill op, right? Like, you can't just play dangerously, because if someone does wipe out your elite, that's an easy kill op for them. That's nothing,
But I mean, competitively, if you play this game and you know how obscurement works and you're not playing into a lot of elites, ultimately having obscuring is always going to already start skewing towards the higher ballistic skill meta, right? Which is typically like Marines.
Yeah.
So that's already a bonus in their thing. They can also counteract, right? They also have 3 APL. Right, they don't have to be super crazy on turning point 1. That means they're going to have 6 operatives going from turning point 2, turning point 3, turning point 4. It seems optimistic to say. I know what Kellen's thinking about taking to SoCal Open and
really?
and to
Did
Worlds
he play
already.
This weekend?
He's probably going to try to play some games of Vespids this weekend. To try and prove his point here. I do like your point. You very well may be right. Hopefully when we see more teams, we'll be able to, actually see what's going on.
If past editions of this show have anything to say, it's that I'm basically a sage when it comes to my hot takes. They're always
Okay.
That's true.
One thing Kellen said to me earlier, which, by the way, Kellen's my teammate. He was actually my teammate for AVTT. By the way, congratulations for your win at AVTT, Kellen.
Congratulations on winning the golden ticket, Kellen. Congratulations.
I will see.
You were good at the last edition. We'll have to see if you're good at this edition. I'm just saying. With Vespids.
Yeah. Damn. All right.
Damn.
Don't give me something to prove.
Yeah. Hey, I want. Come out and win SoCal Open. Come beat up Jimmy Kelly, the big purple mean guy.
Please do. I love how you just pooped on his parade, Dakota. My goodness. Anyways.
And this is hot takes after all, right?
This is. He's like, after the crap you've been saying, like, there's no way you're going to be good at this edition.
Who, me? Okay. Or who? Jimmy? Who?
No, you saying to me.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
we'll have to see.
Okay. Back on track here.
I hope you are, Kellen.
Dakota, can you calm down? Let other people talk. My goodness. Anyways, I would never do that. I would never talk over. Anyways, go on. So the way Kellen described this earlier on, he compared it to the initial box of Vet Guard and Kommandos. When they first came out, Kommandos, everyone thought that was the strong team. Vet Guard was weak. And after people took time to figure out that card, they had a lot more strength than people initially assumed. And the way he presented to me was, I think Vespids have a lot more strength, and people just don't see it because it takes more time to put it together. And I would agree with that. It seems like the Aquilons or Aquilians or whatever the hell they are, they seem like a really straightforward team, and it seems pretty strong. But I do think the Vespids probably have a lot more strength than people are probably giving credit for on release. I think when people take time to play them, they'll get better.
Of course.
Secondary take, I will say, Vespids would have sucked in second edition, but I think that they've got room to grow and do well in third.
I guess we'll have to see. Well, Kellen, I want to thank you for your hot take. We're gonna move on to another person's hot take.
Yes.
But thank you very much.
Very much.
And I look forward to seeing you at SoCal Open beat Jimmy Kelly.
Maybe Vespids, maybe Night Lords.
I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Or maybe something we haven't discussed yet.
Exaction Squad.
That's true. Exaction Squad.
Bringing them as here, this time around.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't know yet. The rules aren't out yet. We don't know.
That's true. That's true. All right, Kellen. Thanks for popping on, brother.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you very much. All right. Peace out, guys.
Peace.
See ya. All right, and let's bring our next guest. I put the order here already, so this one is Mr. Samwise the Brave next.
Samwise the Brave.
All right, he's got a fun little one.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring him over right now. Sam, feel free to unmute yourself now and join us in the conversation.
Hey guys, how are we?
Hey,
Good.
we're doing
How are
well.
Yeah, it's good. Good. I'm actually working at the moment. I'm working from home and demonstrating why working from home is not always the most productive.
Yeah, go on Twitch and watch this.
Exactly. I've got about an hour and a half of boring emails to do, so I should
That's fair.
Okay, well, what do you got? What do you wanna give us for your take today?
Yeah, I mean I've got several, but I won't.
Well, firstly, where is Sam calling from?
Ooh.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm in Sydney right now, so it is 21 past 11 a.m.
Well, thanks for calling from Sydney.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, got to make it international. Squad games going international.
There we go. Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah. Good to talk to you, Sam.
Yeah, you too, Jimmy. So I think my first hot take, and this is a very hot take considering the Corsair rules just came out, and it looks like they're going to be quite well. It looks like they've been buffed. I think elf teams are going to suck in the new edition, even more than they currently do.
Oh.
So a couple of reasons for that. One, they can't pop tart, and that's because you can only climb on reposition moves, so you can't climb on a dash. So the ability to move up on a vantage point, shoot somebody, and dash back down, which was kind of bread and butter of the alpha arsenal, that's gone now. So
Can you not drop? Can you not drop with a dash?
No, I don't think so. Because drop isn't an action anymore. It's just climb, and climb is both vertical. Climb is both up and down, and climb can only be done during a reposition.
Yeah.
So that is my take at least. And elves basically means if you want to shoot with your 8 wound 4-up save gunner from a vantage point, you have to stay up there, and you're getting shot back by something that will probably kill you. So that kind of piece of mobility is gone. I think the second component of it is elves were really good at getting up the board in the first turning point to score points and getting a combination of score points and getting to good positions, which now they can't score points on TP1. They're going to have a real problem with that because elves were never great at pushing more tanky teams off points, and now they're going to have to do that. They can't use their early game positioning to get in really good board positions, which both score them early points and help them get in a dominant spot. What else? I think the mobility stuff is probably not. It was also less useful. So the one extra inch is less useful when you can't get to those points early and score on them. And then for Corsairs, for instance, the fact that they lost light fingers and their GA2 will really, really, really impact their action economy and the ability to do kind of multiple things at once. So
that's fair.
Wow.
But I do have a counteract. You like that one?
Before you do, Dakota.
Oh, okay.
Before you do.
All right.
Here's the thing. I want to say this, then you go. All right.
Mm-hmm.
When you first started by saying no to elves, I was shocked. I was like, "There's no way he's going to present a convincing case that they're less viable than before." And you did. I buy it. And now I want to see if Dakota can convince me back. I'm easily swayed.
Yeah.
Easily swayed. Go ahead, Dakota.
Jimmy is
Battle for Jimmy's soul.
yeah.
Yes.
Gimme Jimmy.
Convince me, sir.
Gimme
Convince me.
Gimme Jimmy is very easy to sway. So I can't find movement in the book, but it does say dropping. It is an actual. It's its own separate movement. Climbing. I know that climbing specifically says that you're not allowed to climb with heavy weapons and shoot them, but it doesn't say that you can't climb and shoot with a normal weapon or drop. Dropping specifically states operatives drop down when they move off of terrain or after they've jumped. Ignore the first 2 inches of vertical distance that they drop during each action. This means vertical drop of 2 or less is ignored. If they drop multiple times during an action, only 2 is ignored, not 2 from each drop.
I might be fake newsing you a bit there.
Yeah, a little bit of fake news. A little hysteria coming down from down south, southern hemisphere.
From down under.
They do things upside down.
Yeah,
We do.
you know,
Yeah.
You can't dash up when you climb, so that might be part of my point of confusion. So
There
you
you
can't use
go.
the dash to climb. Yeah.
But I don't know if I have to find the dash specifically, because maybe it does say.
Well, let's go to our table of contents.
Oh yeah, there's a table of contents. Thank you,
Yes.
Games Workshop.
And also a glossary.
And a
so we can
glossary.
find that out.
This is cool because we get to experience the. I mean, I think we've read through the book
Maybe once or twice.
once or twice, and that's about it. So.
You want to look at in this section right here.
Oh, it's in the front of the book.
Kind of in the front. Like it'll tell you.
So
to kind
I
of where to
do
go.
think elves are going to be, in my personal opinion, I think elves are going to be a good counter to elites. They're not going to give nearly as many counteracts, and Corsairs are allowed to take 2 guns, right? 2 gunners, as
Yeah,
long
which
as it's
is-
not the blaster
that's
and the
big.
heavy wraith cannon, right?
Yeah, still 2 gunners is nice.
Yeah. So that is always really good into any sort of AP, and then we'll have to see what, heaven forbid, maybe Hand of the Archon going to take 3 gunners now, because they obviously have to be better than Corsairs, and who knows what's going to have Blades of Cain. But it says dash is same as the reposition action, but you can move up to 3 inches instead. It cannot climb during this move, but it can drop and jump.
Well, I've faked news your whole audience.
See, 'cause-
Apologies for that.
Hey, that's why it's a hot take.
It's
We're all
fine, it's
learning
fine.
together.
He
We're
was
all
thinking
learning
climb, and again, it's upside down, so therefore it would have been drop on our side.
You're right.
Translation was a little.
That's
Yeah.
it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sam, you've broken my heart.
Yeah.
I'm very. I still think some of my original points still still apply
So-
around the
They do.
around the
They
positioning
do.
on TP1 and the lack of the point scoring. But
I
yes, the
agree.
point turning thing, I'm clearly wrong about that. Yeah.
I think also with the new missions, some of the new missions can still favor an elf team. I think it's going to heavily depend on what Games Workshop and other events consider competitive, right? Like, are we considering sabotage competitive when you can just straight delete points of the game, right? Are we considering upload, uplink, and all these other things actually competitive? I don't think a lot of the missions are competitive, and maybe we can see. I think elves might be good at sabotage, right? Like they might be able to jump to a Space Marines backline and be like, "Ha! Blow it up!"
Right.
Now that you can't do anything anymore.
For sure.
But also I think loot is actually. Oh, I'll save that hot take in a second. But no, I can see elites maybe being worse, but again, it's difficult to say. I think they're going to be fantastic. I think they might suck into hordes. I think it's going to be rock, paper, scissors. Suck into hordes, great into elites. Elites crush hordes.
Right, because it's easy to kill them in 1 or 2 shots.
No idea.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe they are doing that.
One of the advantages that the elf teams had against elites in this edition was if the elites wanted to score points, they had to expose themselves, which basically meant that the elf team, could dive bomb forward with a fusion pistol and wipe somebody out. I think because they don't have to expose themselves quite so readily, because they don't need to compete on TP1, then there's less risky positioning that the elite player will need to do to expose themselves to the elf gunners, which will make things a little bit different as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good hot take.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I like it.
I really liked it, except for the part where you broke my heart. But other than
Yeah.
that,
I
fantastic.
lied.
So where does Jimmy land on this? Jimmy,
Corsairs?
who has stolen your heart? Are elves going to be good into elites, or are elves going to be bad into elites?
Sam actually, I think he has the winning case.
That's
the
fair.
other arguments are still really strong. With only 3 objectives, the extra movement, you don't need to like cover the whole board or get to things. They are going to be really killy, but some of those benefits, I don't think outweigh the few things they lost. I think it's going to be really interesting. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that was very convincing to me. That being said, if you love Corsairs, I think give them a chance. They could have it, and we won't know unless good players love them and bring them and get stomped by elites ultimately anyways. So,
Yeah.
Like Corsairs will still be good. Like at least Jimmy, you probably met Emma from the Australian team at WTC. She just won the Team Sydney Open with 52 players with Corsairs.
Wow.
4-round event. Won a golden ticket for it. So they'll still definitely have to play in the hands of a good player.
Yeah.
Winning a major with Corsairs is very impressive.
It is.
So,
I don't think any Corsair player
very.
placed above 25th at the All Valley Team Tournament this past weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Good on Emma. I'm excited to see what she does with elves. But Sam, we're gonna cast you back to Australia, and we're gonna move we're gonna move on to the next one. If you have another hot take, feel free to put it in there, and we'll pull you again. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to
Goodbye,
get back
Sam.
to work. Good catching up, guys.
Good catching up, brother.
Absolutely.
Thanks for jumping on.
Great to hear from you.
Yeah.
All right, this we got a next one here.
Hold on, I have a hot take.
Oh, you have a quick? Okay, let's get a quick hot take in.
Did you join the waiting room and share your hot take first, Dakota?
Yeah,
No, I
did you?
didn't. I'm
Get in line.
producer. I'm a producer of the show. Okay.
That is, he's
No cutting.
one of the producers.
Yeah, no cutting, sir. My goodness. Go ahead.
So, firstly, I want to shout out our sponsors, which is No One / Hobby Highlander, our own show. But we did have some amazing sponsors at the All Valley Team Tournament this year. We had Duncan Rhodes, we had AK, Artis Opus,
We had Game Envy.
Game Envy. Game Envy was huge. So, and then we had, I think there's 2 more.
A bunch of stores that also helped out.
Yeah, Titan Hobbies from the East Coast. So thank you to all the sponsors that helped make the All Valley Team Tournament happen. And so okay, that's besides the point. So the hot take is I think loot is going to be the most balanced mission in this next edition.
See, I agree, because I think it's always been relatively balanced each edition, save for when people just run hordes at it. Different story. But then you can just run hordes at anything and call it a day. I think that feels pretty accurate. There's only 3 points now, and you can only score it once, so you're fighting for those. So it'll be a lot of like 2-1, 2-1 back and forth. Unless you just dominate, then you get 3 and 0, and it's hard to come back from that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because if you overload the middle point to score it, the elite players or the elf players or the orcs and stuff can kill you pretty heavily. So then they can score more on tac ops, kill ops and stuff.
Right?
Yeah, so,
Which is one thing I wonder.
yeah. I don't know if that's a hot take. It might just be a fact. I mean, we'll have to see.
I don't know. Do you guys agree with that? Do you agree with that, Mr. Jimmy?
Ooh, I don't know if I agree with that as much as Sam, but I do agree with that. Yeah,
That's fair.
like I said, easily swayed.
So it sounds like
Only
it was not
easily
a hot
swayed
take.
Jimmy.
Yeah, easily swayed Jimmy. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna pull in our next guest. I don't know their name here on Discord. It says D. ...
I will get it for you right now. It's Mr. Dr. 0 Hour.
Dr. 0 Hour. Dr. 0 Hour, welcome. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Well, I'm Dr. Zero. I also go by Zach Kennicott. I am from Florida, and I actually go to Warpfire and fought Mr. Jimmy Kelly when his son came and stole the ticket from him.
Oh!
See, SoCal's just
I'm
going
a scout.
everywhere, just stealing all the golden tickets.
I'm the GSC scout player that you fought.
Oh, dude, it's so good to talk to you, man. It's so funny. When he first started, I was like, hey, the first caller I don't know. And I do. I do know you. It's so cool. It's good to talk to you, man.
Yeah, good to hear from you.
Absolutely.
So I'm
That's a
supposed
fun
to
match,
present.
by the way.
It was. You kicked my butt, but I had a blast. I'm supposed to present to you all with a hot, spicy take.
Absolutely.
And my take is that Beta Decima will be a viable competitive map in the new edition with usage of new equipment, changes to obscuring, and the scoring system changes.
I mean, it's a fair take. I've heard it enough right? Look at that. I opened a Beta Decima. Almost like my finger was on it. It wasn't. Let's see here. What is Beta Decima? I haven't even read what the rules are because I'm so not looking forward to Beta Decima.
I think in total we own 2 sets. Just 2. The one I have and
Only
then the
2?
one that our other friend has.
Well, we can also make a lot of Beta Decima with old towers and old crates and stuff that we have from previous editions like Block City. It's fascinating to me that everyone is so excited to play Beta Decima when back in the day it was called Block City. You just had a bunch of big blocks of terrain and you couldn't like get around it and everyone hated the format. And then Games Workshop comes out with it and they're like, guess what? Now you can't step in the middle of the map. It makes it even harder. So now everyone's like, oh, this is so cool. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I get a fight above warp-tainted water mist. My goodness. Okay. Okay, Zach. All right. Let's go over some of these.
By the way, you're right. Beta Decima feels like a bad sequel for Terrain.
Yeah.
Like it's just anyway, continue though. You were saying.
That's fair. So it looks like no operative's base can be touching the hazardous area, which is the same as before. Mm-hmm. Still, it looks like the 4 inches is not from the valid. So you have to be within 4 inches to be able to see a model to target something that is not on the kill zone floor. And when selecting a valid operative on a vantage terrain, an intended target on the kill zone floor is not a valid target if the footprint of the gantry is between them. And the same is true for reverse. Interesting. So it looks like it is just. Oh, it's out of focus now. Oh, my finger's going the wrong way. It looks like it's just a big block of terrain that you can't see through, but you can see through, but you can't see through. So it looks like just a big block of terrain. And yeah, that's the only things about it. That's fantastic.
So Dakota, are you saying you still don't like Beta Decima?
No, I don't like Beta Decima. I like your take because I think you might be right. There are some reasons why I will not be investing in Beta Decima. When I was in the meeting for at the Nova meeting, the Warhammer Insider event, we spoke to we had a lot of questions about classified, declassified, right? And the terrain came up. Is the terrain also going to become classified and declassified, right? So like, is this something that we're going to want to invest in? Is this something that we're going to want to invest in if it possibly goes away in the future, right? You're already looking at that kind of stuff for possibly Octarious, Into the Dark, all that kind of stuff, right? If terrain also goes away, including with terrain for classified, declassified tournaments, right? Is that going to be an issue? And the thing is like, I don't think that we're going to want to tech into a terrain aspect, right? If there's a possibility of that terrain going away. We need to see more from this classified, unclassified system that Games Workshop is coming out with, if we even want to do that. And the thing is like, I think most of our events are not going to be classified, right? I don't think LVO is going to be classified for the foreseeable future. I think we're going to be running declassified for pretty much everything. And so I don't know if that's going to be an issue in the future. But also, if we end up running Beta Decima, if we do, we're going to be changing a lot of it because we'll probably be using crates because we already have that terrain. I don't want to buy GW product that has a shelf life. I'm not going to as a tournament organizer. So I think there's a lot of reasons why I typically don't like Beta Decima or why I don't think it's going to be super hyper competitive. And sure, it could be if they get rid of terrain, it could be viable for 4 years, or if they revamp it and re-release it, right? We could see this terrain coming out. We could see this terrain being re-released, and then it just never goes away perpetually. And maybe that's what they're going to do for everything. Who knows, right? For classified, declassified, right? But as long as like that kind of remains a thing, I don't know if I want to keep investing in different terrain systems, because as a TO it becomes perpetually expensive to just update, go next, go next, go next.
Especially, and this is a whole new set, so it's not even anything we can add to existing terrain. Yeah. It's a brand new entire thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is its own logistical problems of transporting. So,
So it's only really truly going to be competitive if the community itself really adopts Beta Decima, and if TOs adopt Beta Decima. And I think that's where your take is going to hit the biggest like sandbag, is whether or not TOs are going to be willing to adopt a game system that or a terrain system that who knows how long it's going to be here for, right? And like, I mean, look at, like, no one wants to play on Octarious anymore. Like, literally no one. Everyone's so ready for Volcus to come out. They just want Octarious to die. Like imagine if you invest like $1,000 in like 12 Beta Decima, 14 Beta Decima sets as a tournament organizer, and then people are like, "Yo, this is hot dog water."
Right, like they're over it. I mean, I guess there's one thing to want like newer looking terrain. I know we've gotten some complaints before. People are like, "Are you going to update the layouts?" No, we're so close to the end. There's really no reason to do it. We have to get new terrain now and remake layouts. So so I get it. Some people want to try something new after a while, and I could see, especially because Octarious has been around since the beginning, people might get tired of it.
And like, for all we know, like Beta Decima is going to be here forevermore, and then maybe we just buy a limited quantity per set per year. Maybe it sticks around, and I know I've been monologuing. Zach, what do you think about the things I've said?
Well, real quick, if I can jump in.
Yeah, go for it.
So I might be easily swayed, Jimmy, but I also have another hobby, and it's my favorite hobby, and that is disagreeing with Dakota. So, and also,
this guy.
It's my favorite thing. You should try it extensively at a tournament to his face. I love it. Recommend it. 5 out of 5 would recommend.
If you do, neither of them are going to leave the venue. Neither of them will leave the venue. They'll be stuck talking forever.
This is true, Giacomo. Okay, so also Zach is a fantastic guy. So here's the thing. I'm going to side with Zach. I've only played like one game on Beta Decima. I've just tried to avoid it like the plague. I'm going to start getting Beta Decima games in. It sounds fun. I embrace the change. Let's do Beta Decima. And the best part is Dakota doesn't even sell it. So you make no money off this, Dakota. Anyways, I am excited to see how this new edition plays on Beta Decima. Let's give it a shot. I love it.
I mean, that's fair, Jimmy. That's fair.
This might be my last podcast with
Dakota. So Zach, what do you think?
I will say, like, I didn't consider, as from a TO's perspective, the problems of having to get new terrain for each edition. So I do agree. Whether or not they do cycle out terrain, I do know that some players want to take a break from the previous terrains, and I remember them saying that they want to incorporate the new edition rules for Beta Decima, Into the Dark, and Volcus. So I thought, wouldn't be a bad idea to at least try to change the terrain so that it's more fun. But the big thing for me about Beta Decima was, one, it's a lot easier terrain set to pack and move around in regards to, being a TO and taking care of it. But in terms of gameplay wise, the biggest changes that I think will allow Beta Decima to be competitively is the point scoring system.
I agree.
Fact that almost half, if not a little more, of TAC Ops are focused on killing, and teams can't just hide away and score all their points by just hiding away. You have to go out and kill. At least 11 out of 20 points are focused on killing. You have to go out there. You have to expose yourself. A lot of the primary scoring also requires you to go out and do mission actions. With the new jump test, auto passing, we don't have to worry about that nonsense anymore. With ladders making it so that anyone can climb up quickly to get up to points if they need to. Everyone having access to smoke, providing obscuring. The heavy barricade is great for protecting yourself against enemies, like for stupid pathfinders. Point is, like, there's a lot of tools now that take this wide open terrain that was a problem because of teams like Phobos and Pathfinders that can ignore obscuring and just shoot you across the map. And teams with flying, like Harlequins.
Or Vespids.
Now now they're Vespids can fly, but they
They
can't
can.
score turn 1 anymore. So
No,
they
they can't.
can't abuse that anymore.
Right.
That's
So
true.
I
But
do
they
think-
sure can blow up your sabotage pretty easily, so you can't score any more points.
I mean, just kill them before they can.
That's fair.
You know,
That's
just
fair.
saying. I fought against the Vespids, and like they are very interesting, but they are very squishy.
Okay.
Like
All right.
a bolter just shreds through them so easily.
Glass cannon.
Ooh,
But-
let's get Kellen back. See what he says about that.
He's gonna
I'm
be
kidding.
excited.
Don't get Kellen back. Don't do that. Yeah, no.
Chapter tactics with Space Marines, like saving on Fritz 5s and retaining double and cover is insane.
Mm.
Like they just do not die. But
That's fair.
point is, I do think like with the proper layout, the biggest thing is the people like you, Dakota, who actually do tournaments and plan out map designs. The layout will be the most important part.
Mhm.
And
Well, the other
I
thing,
do think
there is one other problem with Beta Decima that I've always had, and that's that it doesn't have enough terrain. I think that's a problem also with Into the Dark. Now, I know that I see Samwise on our Twitch is also agreeing with your take, and so is multiple other people. And Sheldon is also saying, Kill Team Stream is also saying that now I just need to make Beta Decima terrain to make my life a living hell. But
You'll never do it. You'll never do it.
We have a friend.
don't tempt me, Jimmy. Don't tempt me. So.
Yeah.
I agree with all of your takes. I think it is going to be more competitive. I think that it is going to be ultimately better. But the question is it going to be competitive enough? Is it going to, because there's still a bunch of teams we don't know what they do, right? Like imagine the Harnkin Jaegers that can just start on the gantries. You know, I mean, that's put a couple ladders on there, you know, homies are up there. I mean, the entire team.
aren't the Jaegers, don't they have to stay on the kill floor when they move forward?
Do they?
I thought.
I have no idea.
Oh, they might. You know.
I don't know.
But I do agree, like, there are definitely some teams that can abuse and be out there extremely fast. But if they go up there, you know, they're kind of exposing themselves on the higher vantage.
I agree. I mean, I do think that Beta Decima is going to be more competitive. I think that your take is correct. The question is it going to be competitive enough? And will TOs adopt Beta Decima? Because the other thing is like, if we could imagine, let's say Games Workshop never refreshes a range. Okay, let's say they never refresh Into the Dark, Octarious, Beta Decima, or Vulcus. By the time the end of this next edition, we're going to have 7 different variations of terrain, and then like for unclassified tournaments, you'll have 70 teams on 70 different kinds of, or 7 different kinds of terrain. Things could be wild. It could be wild, right? Which is an argument for classified, right? So like, I mean, I don't dislike your take. You know, I dislike Beta Decima because it just is like a throwback to the very start of this edition. But I think to make it better is we add more gantries, more places for teams to go. And I think the same thing is true with Into the Dark. I think Into the Dark needs to be more symmetrical, asymmetrical. We need more singular pieces of walls with doors and without doors in the set because it's so difficult. Let me tell you, everyone, it is so difficult to make good asymmetrical Into the Dark maps.
Right.
I feel that the last rendition of Beta Decima maps suffered from the same thought theories that I did in my very first Into the Dark maps. But I think like to make good third-party Beta Decima maps, we will have to have multiple tournaments, play testing them, getting feedback so that we can make the best asymmetrical Beta Decima. But it is going to, in my opinion, require more terrain than what is currently allowed.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I do agree, like, it does look a little bland.
It's very
But,
laney, and
I
I
mean,
hate laney maps,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, but with the new addition, like the new equipment options, including the heavy barricades, small barricades, tripwires, all these different things, there are ways to add more to it, but I do agree, like, there has to be more. I wish those plasma generators that were in the Hearthkin Jaeger box and the Brood Brothers, I wish that came with Beta Decima by itself, because those provide plenty of cover, they look cool, but I do definitely agree. And ITD-wise, I hope maybe they come out with a new version, or at least like include some of the pieces that were originally for like narrative play, where like some of the walls can be breached or different things can be opened to allow more interaction and more options in that environment.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, Zach, we're gonna let you go here, and we're gonna talk for a bit, and we're gonna reiterate everyone to stream because it looks like we have quite a few people on stream, and thank you for your call. Thank you for your hot take. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was a good conversation.
Thank you
good
for
talking to you,
your
Zach.
time, guys.
Absolutely.
Hey, thanks, man. I enjoyed it, and I wish you all the best of luck. And Dakota, I do. If Beta Decima does become competitive, I wish you the best of luck, man.
Thank
Truly.
you. Thank
To
you.
start making them.
Yeah,
Hope to see you at LVO.
Yeah. Come to LVO. You know, give us hugs.
I will have to
Absolutely.
budget and plan for that. I've already planning for so many different trips here in Florida alone. Going to another across the country that's a lot of planning.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
no worries.
That's fair. That's fair.
This
See
is
ya.
true.
All right, brother. Peace.
All right, see ya.
So yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's reiterate some stuff.
Beta Decima. Ew. But I like Zach's.
His take.
I like his take, but we'll have to figure it out. I can't complain
Zach. He's a
because
great guy, so,
I can't complain because if it becomes competitive, I will just make new maps, like neoprene maps, like our old maps, and sell those too. It's not a bad thing for me. It's just something I don't want to have to accept.
Yeah,
that
you
it's
could
competitive.
always make the water
That looks
smaller.
really wrong,
It
Giacomo.
does. You can make the water look smaller. You know, instead of the big old box, it's like half the box now.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
that's one thing you can experiment with is the floor.
it's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I don't know if it's gonna make it better or not, but you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're gonna have.
Yeah, I can't see Dakota ever making Beta Decima terrain. He would destroy his new laser with his tears. It would just be like,
I've already done multiple
What if,
lasers.
what
my
if like
guy.
the community voted like
already-
we only want Beta Decima?
Oh, I
he's
would.
destroyed them with fire. Now he's going to destroy them with his salty tears of despair. But it won't. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
So everyone, if you're in Twitch right now, again, you gotta if you have a hot take, join our Discord. You're gonna go into the Hot Takes Lounge, and you're going to give us your hot takes there, and then you're gonna join the waiting room. And in the waiting room, you will mute yourself and be ready to be pulled into the next conversation. So, I think we're gonna pull Jason here.
Yes.
I think he had to go, but he did leave his message.
Did Jason have to go?
Yes, he did right here. He
Oh,
had to go.
goodness gracious, Jason. So
But,
what is? Let's see if he's still here. It says he's here. Jason, are you here?
He's still muted.
I know he's still muted. I can tell.
Oh wow!
He is here.
Wow!
He
I
didn't
thought-
go.
Damn,
You're a
he lied.
fucking
He
liar,
said he
Giacomo.
was going. He said it right there.
Hey, it's Jason. Jason, congratulations on your AVTT win.
Yep.
You too, Jimmy.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, man. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Doing good. I had a teammate carry me to an AVTT win. I was the dead weight, and you followed through and were 6-0. Good job, Jason.
He was.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Jimmy did do the worst on his team, which was surprising.
Oh, I was hot garbage. Hot garbage.
Yeah.
I was destroyed by my son and by Chris Baki on stream, so you can watch it. It was terrible. But on to Jason. Enough of my woes and miseries.
Mm-hmm. Jason, where are you calling from?
Chicago, actually.
Chicago.
Wow!
Wow.
Dang, he was just
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was
Not
just
expecting.
out here in California
Yeah.
a few days ago.
Yeah, that's cool. What's up,
Yeah,
man?
yeah.
Yeah,
Just here for some work trips. Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
just chilling, hanging out in Chicago.
Okay.
Cal team is spreading out. We're invading other countries and cities. We're everywhere.
You mean states?
Well, everywhere.
Oh.
We have
Oh.
people in other countries. Don't worry. There's a few Spanish players that are secretly, they're on our side. They don't. If Ace is listening to this, you have to wonder who's really loyal. I'm just saying. Continue.
Jason, what's your hot take, brother?
All right, my hot take is that the new meta is going to be Mono Banshee Blades of Cain. I think that they're going to be absolutely cracked with the new stun rule. Obviously, we don't have the rules yet, but I think that when it comes out, I think that the going on guard on Into the Dark with the shriek that kills, I think it's called, the one that's like the stun, Mono Banshee is going to be insane. Like no one's going to be able to do anything about it. I think with like the fly rule as well, it's going to abuse like the 2-level advantages. I think it's going to be pretty nuts.
That's fair. And we don't know the rules for
Yeah.
Blades of Cain yet.
You know, we don't, but I totally agree with him because I watched the finals since I was in charge of making sure they ran, and I saw a lot of that happening, where Mr. Baki was doing exactly that.
Did you know that Chris just ran Mono Banshees to prove that they weren't bad? There's people on the Command Point Discord saying like, Mono Banshees is so bad, and then Chris was like, "You're dumb. Let me show you how it's done," and then he did.
No, and on Into the Dark,
did.
it's insane because you can do the pre-parry too, right? You always have the option of like critting and falling back because you're like initiating the fight action, right? At least like that's how I interpret it, right? So like,
Oh, that is correct. That happened in our game. That is,
you literally just
Yeah.
like move your 3 APL model onto a point, you smoke yourself, and then you just go on guard, and then people can like try and charge you, but you can like, oh, looks like we have someone else to join. Oh, it's David. So you can like go on guard, and you can like either do like the strike and fall back. If you don't smoke, you can do like the shriek that kills, I think is what's called, for the stun. So like every 2 APL team charges you, and then you just like stun them. And then my understanding of the new rule, I saw some discussions today about it, is that like stun will then last to the next turn. So not only are they stunned and they lose the APL for that action, but they potentially lose it for the next turn as well. So then you just wait to the next turning point, and then you go and you kill that model, and then you charge and kill something else and go on guard 10. And, like, it's pretty nuts. I think it's gonna like.
So it's good in this edition, but we have to see if they even have that rule in the next one. But
that's why it's a hot take.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what's gonna happen.
That's true.
Blades of Cain Banshees are really good on Into the Dark right now. That's for sure.
The Scorpions are good too. That's the thing. Like, there's some like you can like just like move on conceal with like the Scorpions, right? And like open a door, move out of engagement range, D3 mortal wounds plus D3 plus 2 mortal wounds to a target, and then you could like hatchway fight them, which is an insane amount of damage because you're gonna do 2 mortal wounds again if the rules are still the same with the Mana Blaster. So you've just done a minimum of 5 damage to a target without even having to have like non-reciprocal damage before you've initiated the fight.
That's true.
Which I think is pretty cool.
So Jason,
they seem like a super fun team.
I have a hot take for you. I think that Dire Avengers in the next edition are going to be mono Dire Avengers are going to be dope. And the reason why no one could ever run mono Dire Avengers, right? This is more spicy than yours, I think, is because there was roster restrictions. Now there is no roster restrictions. And if they keep the torrent thing, imagine being able to run up a model 10 inches, again, referencing our old rules, and then torrenting models. Is that even what it's called in the next edition? Torrent?
Torrent is the word now.
Is it?
Yes, it's just torrent.
Okay. If they have that again, with 2 different models, being able to get like some mass blasts off. I think obviously they'll probably be still Giga Chad Brain. What is it called? Omega Brain?
I like Giga Chad Brain. That one's funny.
Okay, that's better. I think they'll be pretty good too, but I think in specific scenarios, just like you'll probably take Striking Scorpions into 7, 8 wound models, you'll probably take Banshees into certain things, and I think Dire Avengers into others. I think they'll be a really good Swiss Army knife. Personally.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it depends if the Dire Avenger leader still hits on 2s. Right, they're changing. That was a decent number of the leaders. If it's hitting on 2s, I still think it'll be super good because him having like the natural like double shoot, I think that's super good. Into like, I've only played it once, but like because I just started trying to build Blades of Cain, I thought they were a super cool team. I love the way the models look, by the way. I love the way the Banshees look. That's why I'm so hot on them as
Eldar
Oh, okay, yeah, the new ones too, the resculpts. Though I do like the classics metal ones. That's one of the few metal models I actually think are. There's an endearment to them, you know.
I have them right here.
So, do you have them? Do you have them nearby? Because there's an endearment to those old Eldar models, which I really enjoy. One of the few old stuff that I really like.
I think my son stole them.
He probably did.
They're not
He's playing with them somewhere.
Yeah.
They're that good that he had to take. That makes sense. But yeah, I think the Dire Avengers, like, there's totally like the chance that they're gonna be like, because I think they really, man, like I got to play Robert's Craft World at AVTT, and those models just having balanced was so helpful. Like for them, like playing with like Dire Avengers, like not mono Dire Avengers, but just playing like a mixed roster with Blades of Cain. Not having balance just feels awful. And then like the ploy right now for shooting is like you can shoot against a non-ready model to get a reroll. Like I don't want to be shooting models that have already gone if I'm playing an 8 wound or an 8 model team, right? Like I need to be gaining activation. So like, or an advantage in activation. So like I think they really need balance. But at the same time, the torn ability is great. Like especially into, I've caught now a couple Brood Brothers players playing Blades of Cain with the torrent ability. Just they put their leader somewhere they think they're safe because the veteran's nearby. And then you're like, I'm going to shoot them with this Dire Vendor who, like to your point, like you dash forward. They already have 7-inch movement in the new edition, but you had Eminent Grace up, so that's another 10 inches you can move, right? And then you shoot with the torrent ability, and you're killing the veteran and like their leader, and they can't throw someone in front of it. So I think there's always like some tech there. Again, I haven't looked at the new Brood Brothers rules. I know those just came out, but I'm with you. I think it's gonna be super cool. I love that there's no roster restrictions, like especially playing Inquisition. Like having to make that choice kind of sucks. Like I want to have Exaction on my roster just in case, but like I'm not going to take them over like the Kazkin or the Breachers right now in second edition, but I think it'll be pretty sweet. Always nice to potentially pull out like the Sisters of Silence too. Looks like they'll still be viable in Inquisition, so that'll be pretty sweet.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Well, as someone who currently has Banshee PTSD, I agree with this take. So yeah, they're strong. They're strong.
Yeah, they scream and you remember. Yeah, what's up?
Are you going to have any tournaments in Maine or Florida?
Not as of this moment.
Not yet.
Not as of this moment.
We're struggling to get to the Bay Area and Vegas right now.
We try to do adjacent to the state of California first.
Trying,
Let's get there
Okay.
first, then we'll get to the other side.
I'm hoping to get a most traveled reward at some point in the future.
Does it count if he comes from Chicago and goes immediately to a tournament?
The what?
Does it count if he's in Chicago and then immediately goes to a tournament? Would that count as farthest travel?
Oh yeah.
I would count that.
Yeah, I'd count that.
How could it not? That ironclad logic. I love
but he has to come directly to the tournament.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you, Jason, for jumping on.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Of course. And you enjoy Chicago. Take it easy. Have a hot dog.
Yeah.
All right. Let's bring in our next guest.
Oh yeah, Jimmy's gonna love this one.
Mr. David, you are on.
You have to unmute yourself, David.
Feel free to unmute yourself.
David, how you doing?
There we go. So
Oh, no, I got you. Let me bring you over.
Bring him back over.
I got you. Here we got you back, David. Here you are.
all right. Okay.
David, where are you calling from?
Well, I'm Kill Team, so California. So I think Kill Team can dominate the chat tonight.
Looks like it. Looks like it.
Sure seems like it.
What's your hot take, brother?
As a former Commando player, who do you see dominating more, Elites or Commandos, as far as what you've read so far?
Well, we've only seen Nemesis Claw and Kommandos. Have Kommandos come out yet?
Commandos they were one of the first ones shown, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be honest, I haven't read the new Kommandos rules, but the Kommandos are always good, but they've always struggled into Elites. Elites have always done 4 or 5 damage with melee, and their shooting profiles, being able to fight twice, shoot twice. I don't see Kommandos being able to stick up to Elites, especially with Elites being buffed whatsoever. I'm interested to hear Jimmy's take on this.
Ooh, fantastic. Well, here's my thought. Commandos already struggled into Elites in the second edition. And with the recent buff to Elites, from what it seems like, from what we're seeing, we're getting limited views because there's so much that hasn't been released.
Right.
But I feel like they're going to actually struggle harder in the new edition because their big bad is just going to get bigger and badder. So my thought is I think Elites are, between those two, Commandos and Elites, I think Elites are going to be on top.
So Nemesis Claw over Commandos?
I would say so.
Oh, I would say so.
That sounds great.
Okay, David. I appreciate you. Thank you for calling in, brother.
No problem.
All right, man. You have a good rest of your night.
Later,
Take it easy, David.
So we've had on my 2 teammates and my cousin. David's my cousin, so.
You have.
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like this is just my friends and family calling in, so. and my opponent in Florida.
What do you expect? What do you expect, Jimmy? Yeah, you're like, hey guys, I'm about to be going live.
Right, you were part of the branding, so they came for you.
Me, you know? Make sure the show goes off without a hitch. You know.
Here's the trouble. I wanted people that I could really tear into and be like, listen here, you pack of shit.
He's getting violent.
Yeah. Listen here, fuckface. And I wanted to really like hit at people. But you're like, let's bring on Jimmy's teammates and let's bring on his family and let's bring on his opponents from Florida or his friends he made in Belgium. Like, fuck, no, I want people I can yell at. Bring on Nick Craven. Where's Nick Craven?
Where is Nick Craven? He's been silent for a while.
Nick Craven is
working
his
thing,
a lot.
He's working.
I understand.
I feel I'm going through withdrawals. I haven't trash talked Nick Craven in months.
You haven't trash talked plasma spam in months.
Oh, Orion, get on here. Let's go.
I mean, it's not too late for Orion. I know he stays up late. Who's our next?
Bring on someone I can yell at. Let's go. I want to get the anger out.
Oh, right. Well, you're not going to be able to yell at this one, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
You shouldn't yell at this man.
Yeah. So we're bringing in Kill Team Stream. I'm surprised he's not streaming Space Marine 2 right now on his Twitch channel.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
My hot take is this show is awesome.
Well, thank you, Sheldon.
All right. Listen
really
here,
my hot take is Jimmy sucks, and also that the new objectives are a terrible size, and that the tiny ladders are useless.
That's fair.
Yeah, the little ones you get in the box.
So I'll push back on Sheldon on this one.
The little ones?
Okay. So, well, two things. So I think Games Workshop has done what they did to objective markers for one specific reason. To me, it seems like a logistical issue. They can produce that little cardboard sheet with the 40 millimeter markers, and they're already 40 millimeters. So why not just say, hey, it's going to be 40 millimeters plus 1 inch. So now they can actually have objectives at their tournaments, because previously they've had 0 objectives at all of their tournaments outside of their first one in San Diego, and I believe everyone stole them. That's why, and I don't know this for sure, but I would assume since a lot of people stole objective markers, they stopped making them or bringing them to events.
Oh, the nice ones.
Yeah. So now if they're just pieces of cardboard,
they don't care.
Yeah. Why would you
They could easily make 2 inch diameter ones. It doesn't have to be 40 millimeters, and then everybody wouldn't have to change all their objectives.
All right.
Yeah.
Listen here,
we
you
have
bag
a
of
box.
shit.
They're kind of right. They could make them out of like paper. They've done paper before.
They have.
By the way, I have to clarify, Sheldon, before you came on, I was mad because you keep bringing on my teammates and my family members. And I'm like, look, I want to fucking yell at someone and tell them what a piece of shit they are. And they're like, well, the next guest is Sheldon. I'm like, fuck.
You can't yell at him.
I'm going to yell at you anyway. So, but here's the thing. Someone ran a cost analysis and they're like, if we make cardboard punch outs that are this size, we will lose 0.5 cent per box. And so we shouldn't do it. And they all agreed. And anyone that voted that, like, guys, it's just money. Let's make a game that's fun. They were fired immediately. So,
sounds like something a simp would say.
Yeah. That's fair. Owning 600 and about 600 objective markers. Actually, we have more than that. It's like 650.
That's too many.
How many?
Too many.
We made 150 tables, 150 times 6.
Yeah.
Is that like 700? 700 objective markers of 4 inch?
What you're saying is you agree.
Yes, I do agree. Yeah. I hate... Yeah. We were actually talking about after All Valley, what are we going to do with our 700 objective markers? We are going to make a short where we have a fire and we're just throwing them into the fire. You know?
I mean, you could just trim 10.8 millimeters off each one.
That feels like extra work I don't want to do. If I'm already going to cut them out, we may as well cut a new one. Does it work in a laser cutter?
So the next edition is important. So you have to have the 40 millimeter ring. It's very important to have the 40 millimeter ring because you have to be able to see the objective marker in order to
make a little sticker.
Yeah, stickers are great, I think. In fact, I was thinking about doing stickers for certain sponsors because they're not permanent.
Markers.
Yeah. So I think that would be great to do. And you could put the 40 millimeter stickers right in the center, have your 1 inch from there. So what it's 90.4 millimeters, which is a 3 inches, 3.574 in diameter, inches, 3.574. I had people asking me, Dakota, are you actually going to make 3.574 objective markers? I said, yes. Yes, I am.
If it's the correct size, right? I mean, we can make precision stuff. We got the tools.
Yeah. Other people have been saying that they sell 3.5 inch neoprene markers from China. So people were thinking about getting them from there. The problem is that with that 40 millimeter circle that has to be dead center, a lot of the times ordering objective markers with a preset thing in the center, their sublimation machines aren't going to put something perfectly in the center every time. It's relatively difficult to do. So you'd have to order bigger objective markers and then have blank space. It's just
some bleed.
Too much of a pain. But I agree with you, Sheldon.
You know how they have those like button makers? I wonder if you could make one of those that just like stamps out objectives at like the sticker in the exact right spot.
Yeah, that could probably work too.
It's a possibility.
And then my last hot take is just you two are too hot to take.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
which two?
You've earned yourself.
Everyone but Jimmy.
There's three of us.
You earned
Damn it.
yourself
I knew it wasn't
some
me.
extra flaming hot Cheetos for that.
Hey, before you leave, Sheldon, I have a question. At
have an
AVT, yeah, I think this might be you because you are a real son of a bitch. This guy also, by the way, it is you. He takes my keys. Well, technically, my son asked for my keys to get in my vehicle, and then he gives them to Sheldon, and I have to fight for my life. It's horrible. He is a monster and a menace. But anyways, someone came up to me at AVTT, and they're like, "Hey, Jimmy, I don't know what your secret is, man, but man, you look so good for your age. Like, what is it?" And I was in the middle of like, "Oh, wait a minute, hold on. How old do you think I am?" And I was like, really complimented to like, "Wait a minute. This all depends on how old he thinks." He's like, "Well, the guy over there, so you're like mid-50s?"
Whoa!
He's not that old.
I was like, "I am 40." And then we just stared at each other, dead eyes. And I was waiting for him to be like, "You're looking for 42. He did not say that. He just stared at me. And his eyes told me, he's like, "You drink every day, don't you?" I was like, "Yes, I do, sir." And we just walked away awkwardly. I was like, someone's going around telling people I'm in my mid-50s. Sheldon, be honest with me. Was that you?
I wish it was me. That sounds awesome.
Sheldon's going to start doing it. He's going to start doing it, Jimmy. You opened yourself up.
Oh, that was the worst idea. I shouldn't drink and do these podcasts.
Oh, it's on the internet too. Everyone's gonna hear it.
Yep.
Well, then they'll know I'm not actually mid-50s. I think I solved my own problem. There we go.
Well, everyone will.
Pretend they don't know.
Exactly. At tournaments, they're gonna just make the jokes now, forever.
Oh, it's the worst. Like, I think it's Baki. I'll have to check with him next.
Well,
I have a few guesses, but.
So, Jimmy, I know you have to go, and Sheldon, we will pull you on for another call a little later, or at another time, maybe another day.
One last thing about this, Sheldon, you're absolutely right about the objective size. Now, since I've yelled at Sheldon, I'm going to yell at Dakota a little bit.
Okay.
Give him some shit. This cheap son of a bitch, one of the prizes I got at AVTT, objective markers. Thank you for the useful objective markers, Dakota.
Hey, Squad Marks
made
Squad Marks sent the proper sized objective markers for the tournament. Not every person knows that, it is 3.574 and not 4 inches.
Okay.
So,
Convenient excuse, Dakota.
Yeah.
Convenient excuse.
Yeah, I'm full of them.
All I can say, whoever makes 90.8 millimeter coaster cutters is going to be a millionaire.
All right, G, write that down.
All right, 90 millimeter.
Going to Alibaba for it.
I got my notes already.
All right, fellas.
All right, later, guys.
Later.
All right, see you later, Sheldon. Love you, man.
All right, we have our next guest whenever you're ready.
All right, and I guess I do have to drop out.
Okay.
You didn't bring anyone that I could legitimately yell on. Oh.
Not yet.
No, so now I have to leave before I can actually get.
You can yell at Giacomo because you don't talk to him.
But you don't have to. Though.
Giacomo, you bastard! You barely call me.
That's true. I don't.
I can give you his number.
Yeah, but I'm not going to call him.
Yeah, you won't.
See, it's like a date. Like I'm definitely going to call you, and then I just don't.
That's fair.
He doesn't call mid-50-year-old men. So
exactly. I'm looking for like 42.
Yeah, 42.
Yeah, maybe one day. So, all right. Guys, it has been fun as always. Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate you.
Can one of you talk shit since I'm gone? Giacomo, can you step up?
Yeah, I can talk some shit.
Call someone a fuckface, okay?
Dakota, you're like my favorite fuck face there is, you know?
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Appreciate
You're
it.
doing it wrong. This is why I have to be. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for having me on.
See you, Mr. Jimmy. All right, let's get our next one. I've always wondered how to say this username. I want to say Pocknock. That sounds right.
Pocknock.
Pocknock sounds right.
How's it going, Pocknock?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good, doing well. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Oakland, California.
Hey, California.
Hey, there
Let's
we go.
Yeah, I don't know any of you people.
That's fair.
No, not at all. We're just strangers on the internet.
So my hot take is related to the comment about objective markers and the fact that everybody has a ton of these things. I think that the Season 1 Octarious terrain, I think it doesn't matter how sick people are of it.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is people have piles of this stuff laying around, and it's never, ever going to go away. It's just going to be like a bad rash, and people are going to say, I have a tournament that I'm going to put on. We've got 64 people who are showing up, or whatever the number is. How much terrain can I put together between now and the tournament? And that person is going to get together everybody they know, and they're going to get a tally of all the terrain they have, and the terrain that's always going to come out as the biggest number is going to be the old Season 1 Octarious stuff, because everybody's got piles of it. Never going away. That's my hot take.
That's fair.
See, I agree, because I have it, and I know I just talked shit and said, like, yeah, we're going to get bored of it, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to use it.
That's fair.
You know, like, is it still, there's applicable rules in the rule book that tell you how to use terrain that you might have in your own. Like, here's how a door works, here's how climbing works, right? And it still can work. So realistically, you'll never get your terrain legend. You might just have to adapt the rules to a different edition, right?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Fair. Yeah.
Which is why we can make so much custom terrain and it still works. Or people do it out of trash.
Yeah, the thing that I'm looking forward to most are the online arguments about whether TO's maps, when the old open map terrain goes down to 3 points rather than 6. I'm looking forward to some torches and pitchforks online about whether certain asymmetrical maps are viable. I think that being asymmetrical when you have 3 points rather than 6 becomes even touchier, because when you have 6 points, if it's asymmetrical, then as long as you have kind of the same number balanced left, right, forward, and aft, then you can say, well, it's basically okay, and the whole attack defense thing, right? You can decide on the dice roll whether you want to be the attacker or the defender, and that will help balance things out. But I think with 3, if one of the points on my side is easier to shoot into than the point on your side, then if you are the shooting team, I'm in trouble.
See, something that's another, I'm going to add to your spice here, my friend. Add some sriracha to your Cholula that you're cooking up with. I'm actually a fan of symmetrical terrain systems. We had, back in the day, Sheldon used to make symmetrical maps, and statistically, when we tracked terrain, or tracked win rates, it didn't really matter if you were attacker or defender. It was a 51% to 49% ratio, and it fluctuated between event to event. On symmetrical, when you introduce asymmetrical, you introduce extra variables, which generally can be detrimental to some teams and other terrain. But what's interesting is that Games Workshop finally started making asymmetrical into the dark.
It happened.
Asymmetrical into the dark terrain, right? And layouts and stuff. And it's relatively interesting. And I don't know.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, go ahead.
That makes a lot of sense, especially since with the old rules where the attacker would, where the one side would set up. I'm sorry, I got it backwards. Where the attacker would set up entirely. One side would set up entirely first, and then the other side would set up entirely. And in those situations, the fact that you got to pick which side of the map was, but then you also had to set up first, was like a big deal. the fact that it's now split into 3 separate squads for deployment, so you don't just get to watch where the other guy puts all of his troops and then set up your best counters to whatever they've got on the other side of the map, I think that strongly impacts the symmetric and asymmetric decision making. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Like if it's an asymmetric map and you get the asymmetry in your favor, but you're required to set up first, and then I get to set up all my pieces to counter you, and I'm an Inquisitorial Agents player, so I'm building my army to counter yours specifically, right? That's the whole purpose of their giant available roster. Then that makes much more difference than you set up 3, I set up 3, you set up 3, I set up 3. It's much harder to counter that way.
Absolutely. I think you're right. I don't think any of the current map packs whatsoever is going to be good currently. I think that everything has to be redesigned. I will say that the missions in the book I saw were for they're for the co-op. So at least in this book, there's no actual competitive map layouts. But I'm sure that Games Workshop will probably adopt the asymmetrical map layouts, and everyone has a nail in their butt that whatever Games Workshop says goes, right? And it's going to be interesting to see if people stick to the raw aspect of one of the other rules that you read out in our last podcast. But I think what you're saying is correct. I honestly think symmetrical maps are better because you can kind of do that. But I will say symmetrical maps are much more boring. For instance, everyone got really bored of the old Into the Dark maps because once you played all 10 maps, you knew how to play the maps.
Right. You knew the step-by-step. It almost became like a chess game doing your moves, right?
When we introduced asymmetrical good, we released 2 packets of bad asymmetrical, but our last one was very good. Asymmetrical maps, it added like 20 essentially sides and then a bunch of different team variations that you could play into. I don't know if you're going to have that much variation with just 3 objectives. You know, I think that it's a very interesting take, Pocknock.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, thanks for coming on.
And also, I say this every time you do the streams.
Okay.
But the end-to-end game streams without clips, that's the players talking about their decisions and going through, that don't get brutally shortened. I love those streams. Thank you for doing those, and please keep them up.
We will be starting streaming battle reports again next Tuesday. We took a break to focus on All Valley, and we didn't want to do one this weekend, so we're doing hot takes. So
great.
Thank you.
Happy Tuesday, gentlemen.
Happy Tuesday. We'll see you next time.
All right, and then it looks like we have one more guest here.
We got Mr. Dr. Zero Hour again.
Dr. Zero Hour coming in from Florida.
Yeah. Hey, you're back on the stream. Hello, what's up?
Hey, so now that Jimmy's gone, I can just do. He is way too nice at events, and because of that, he makes everyone else want to look nice. So just saying.
You know where he got that from? He got that from Orion. Orion would come to LVO dressed up in
in the suit and tie,
and everything, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm wearing mauve." I was like, "Oh, it looks great to me, my guy."
What color is mauve?
I don't know. But yeah, he would wear that, and then Jimmy was like, "Oh, I can't have this guy look better than me." You know, my goodness, it actually just inspired Jimmy. We can talk all the shit we want about.
But you know what? That inspired Jimmy, but then also inspired his whole team to dress up relatively nicely. You know, sometimes they have the vest piece. Otherwise, it's a purple shirt, which is totally fine. But then that also encourages other players to do it too. Now everybody's dressing up, and I'm down for like team representation. You know,
absolutely.
Like,
Are
that's
you
awesome.
dressing up, Dr. Zero Hour, when you're going to tournaments?
I dress decent. I like to wear some nice pants, a decent shirt, but sometimes it just gets too hot here in Florida, so just wearing like jeans and a t-shirt sometimes what you have to do.
I get it.
I've been to Florida before, and when I went to Florida, I took a suitcase that was 45 pounds from California, And when I flew back 10 days later, it weighed 58 pounds because of the amount of moisture my clothes absorbed.
Ew.
Yeah, because out here it's dry. When we went there, bro, the walls would sweat.
Did you have to wring your like stuff
No,
to get
I
the
had to
liquid
pull out all the clothes and wear them because I'm a nice guy and I wouldn't let my wife do it. My wife, I'm not that nice. My wife works some, but I had to pull out like all my jeans and wear all my jeans on the flight because I had to get our
Ew,
carry-on.
God.
Yeah, it sucked.
Was this summer?
Yeah. Also, you know another shitty thing about Florida? You guys have toll roads everywhere, and it's the only viable way to get somewhere, and they're annoying because it's like, we have $2 gas, but if you drive on this road, we're going to charge you $7. Might as well just pay California gas, you know? Equaled out
That's
the
the
same.
trick. You gotta know where to go to avoid them, man.
I mean, yeah, they get all the tourists with that, you know? They do.
Yeah.
They do.
But I'm not here just to talk about Jimmy Kelly and his fancy clothes.
Okay.
I'm here to talk about a spicy take because earlier someone was trash talking elites, and obviously I have to come in with a spicy take and say I believe that Astartes and / elites will be S tier in the next edition.
I agree. Okay. All right.
I can agree with that sentiment. I can endorse that.
There are a few reasons to this, and I've played a test game of the new edition with elites as well.
With Nemesis
and I can
Claw?
just say, no, I actually did just basic Space Marines, like testing Angels of Death, quote unquote, with just one of the chapter tactics and using the basic strategic ploys.
Right.
We basically did like a beta test of like a pseudo Justian team versus the Vespids.
Okay.
And we actually played on your terrain pack, funny enough.
Okay.
Just changed a few of the locations. We did on TTS, and they surprisingly were very difficult. I only lost 2 models in the end, and I basically wiped his team. Turning point 4.
Because Vespids are S tier, Kellen.
And that was with like a basic guy, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things where
that's not real rules. That's good. I love
fair.
it.
I don't have the official rules and all that, but like the fact that I could shoot twice, I did the proper with the heavy bolter. You know, the captain, like, even though there's no invul save now, the fact that you can ignore damage when you need it most, that guy is just ridiculously hard to kill.
I will agree.
Stealthy, hardy, like all the chapter tactics that they have revealed so far for Angels of Death are insanely good. Like earlier, they said something about stun affecting elites. Well, you can just take Resolute and, be like, hey,
and just ignore.
We can't be negatively affected.
Yeah, sorry, Kellen.
He wasn't reading.
He's way too into Vespids, bro. He's way too in.
We have purity seals to make more consistent shooting. The fact that we can shoot twice. We have combat doctrines, which give you rerolls, which you can choose between shooting 6 inches away, within 6 inches, fighting or retaliating, and your captain lets you change that for free each turning point as well, so you can change your battle tactics, going from, hey, first half I'm going to shoot crazy, second half I'm going to go into melee tactics in the same turning point.
Now I think
that's just
is the captain one just on himself though, right? If it targets himself, which is still good because if he can transform into a melee threat out of nowhere, you know, that's still really good.
I don't think the captain can do that.
I think he chooses himself for his own ability.
I have it right here. So once per turning point, you can use a firefight ploy for 0 CP if this is the specified Angel of Death operative, excluding command rerolls, or the Adjust Doctrine firefight ploy for 0 CP if this operative is in the kill zone and not within control range of enemy operatives.
Wow.
So I don't know what the Adjust Doctrine firefight ploy is.
I don't know either.
I mean, that sounds right. I mean,
does something.
assuming that's the way it goes, then that is pretty nuts. It actually makes the captain really strong. Yeah, getting to do that out of nowhere.
I also have to say, for Ben Campbell's sake, I do believe Legionaries are going to be the top toolbox team and kill team in the next edition.
Wow.
At least for the first year. They have all the abilities to mix their marks. They have the ability, no longer worrying about the roster. They have it's the fact that you can take, like, if you're fighting a team, like let's say you're fighting a horde team, you can choose to take a few Khorne, a few Tzeentch, and just go out and crazy, or you can change to Nurgle and Slanesh or Nurgle and Tzeentch. And the operatives for legionaries are some of the best chaos ones. I mean, we see that Night Lords had to take some of the stuff from legionaries to be as good as they are.
Right.
And now the chains are free off legionaries. They have 14 wounds. I don't even want to know what Nurgle does with a 14 wound model in this next edition. Like, that's a lot of health to chew through for normal teams.
I would agree.
Oh man, you're
It
totally
looks
right.
like the Balefire Acolyte, 14 wounds. His spells are pretty nasty too. It doesn't look like he changed very much.
He got another wound, so I mean they're not like Primaris level of super strong.
Yeah,
but the fact that he did get one
14
more wound
wounds
is still already really good.
Yeah, so one of the things that like Craft Ruled Eldar, right? We just saw Robert Nichols from Kel Team
score really high with this craft rules.
Yeah, he got the golden ticket at the All Valley Team Tournament. On his team, he brought Craft Ruled Eldar, and one of the reasons why he stopped playing originally was because intercession was so difficult to deal with to get through that 14 wounds, right? I think the 14 wounds is a really big threshold to get through, and I think that a lot of teams are going to struggle to get to that point. You know, to kill those models. And I could see Legionary being really strong. I would hope that, you know, with Games Workshop putting a lot of the teams on the internet, that they would take extra time to help tweak and make the rules better. Because like before in the past, we've seen them have to go to publishers, I would assume, a year in advance, right? When we look at WotC and other publishers, it takes a D&D book nearly a year to go from editing, art, being published, to shipping to stores. So without having that issue, which if they're both the same size companies, we could assume that that's probably between 10 months and a year to maybe 14 months per book. Without that aspect, hopefully they've been able to put a lot of more time into adjusting and making sure the teams are more balanced on release. Because I'm actually worried that elites are going to be so dominant that, you know, we're not going to see a lot of anything else. That's one of my thoughts. I think from what I've seen here on Warhammer Community and Nemesis Claw, they seem correct.
I mean, I think elites in general are going to be very strong. But remember, counteract happens after you've run out of stuff, so you still have a chance to take some of your heavier weapons and kill an elite. I'm worried many people are going to play elites and just think they're like Superman and just go all out and forget that you still need to put yourself in a favorable position. You can't just go out double shoot and be A-okay, you know?
Yeah, well, it's crazy because like you already see Phobos with 7-inch move, 12 wounds. If you give a model Slanesh now, they get, what, +1 more inch to movement now, so now they're 7-inch wound, 14 wound, crazy fast tank. With Khorne, they have the severe rule, so that if you roll and you retain a crit, you auto-retain one, or if you don't retain one, you auto-retain one.
Yep.
If you don't retain any critical successes,
Then
one of your normal successes becomes a crit hit.
Which is nice, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, it's super strong. I think it's going to be really... I think they're going to be pretty dominant. I'm really excited to see. I think SoCal Open's happening the weekend before New York Open.
That's right. That
and
is
then
the 19th and 20th.
Tacoma is probably going to be the first rather large tournament.
Tampa Open is
Tampa,
the week
yeah, that's
after.
the one. Tampa, not Tacoma.
I'm going to that.
Okay, cool.
What are you running? Do you know? Or I mean, obviously we don't know what people's
I'm
team.
preparing for Angels of Death.
Yes!
I'm currently working on Black Templars.
Yeah!
But if I do not feel comfortable taking them, I am currently studying up on Scouts. I do think Scouts, despite missing an operative, are very strong, and they are more reliant on proper equipment use, and your scouting phase even more now. But it's either going to be Angels of Death or Scouts for me.
Which are both technically Astartes teams, so I'm assuming what they mean is the Astartes will get all their cool rules. So, and I hope that translates to Scouts. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Which is,
Well, the leader has the Astartes keyword, so he can fight twice and shoot twice, but the regular scouts don't have that keyword. So he's the only one that can do that without spending the command point to do it twice.
good observation.
However, the heavy bolter cannot shoot twice in the scouts, but due to the Warhammer article, the only team that so far is confirmed to shoot twice with the heavy bolter is Angels of Death. The Night Lords cannot shoot twice with the heavy bolter.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I will say, testing, if you get a ladder on a terrain piece and you use your heavy bolter, just move, dash, get close to the ladder, then use counteract to move 2 more inches so you're right next to it. You can have your heavy bolter only move 3 inches, technically. Or, well, because you said that using the ladder, you can't shoot, correct? You can't shoot a heavy weapon?
So you can't shoot a heavy weapon if you've moved over. So it depends.
It depends on the model.
It depends on the model.
Like different what they can do.
I think so far.
Because I think they showed someone with a heavy weapon who can do a reposition.
Heavy dash.
And then some can only do heavy dash. Yeah, so I think it varies.
Yeah, so a heavy dash weapon means that you can only dash and shoot. If you have a heavy, reposition,
which is great.
Else.
That's 6 inches, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll have to plan that better then. But getting a heavy bolter on a Vantage, it does work. The fact that you can auto-retain 1, use Purity Seals, auto-retain a second if you miss 2, then re-roll one of the missing ones if you need to. Like, you can get consistent damage with just a heavy bolter on Vantage.
Mm-hmm.
Shreds.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. If I didn't say I was already taking Veteran Guard to Worlds, I would probably also be wanting to take Space Marines because I think Space Marines are going to be cooking, you know. But I'm bringing Vet Guard.
Yeah, I got to say something about Vet Guard. I took them to the con 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
And I didn't do well. But my Plasma and Melta together did a total of 8 wounds the whole tournament. And that was 4 rounds. They just whiffed that bad. My Flamer killed 3 elites in 1 game.
Wow. That's impressive.
The Flamer did work the whole tournament, and I'm excited for the new Flamer changes. So
yeah,
I just wanted to say, Vet Guard, they're fun. I love them.
Yeah, I think the Flamer, the Flame rule looks pretty good. You know, I'm pretty excited about Flamers as well. I'm excited to see the rules for the new Vet Guard to see if how good they are. You know, I'm looking forward to it. But
the fact that you can score more with killing now because of the kill ops is huge for Vet Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do think a good Vet Guard player in this new edition is something to fear because you now don't have to worry about only keeping certain tac ops in play. You can just focus on killing primary and just denying, and that's terrifying.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We'll have to see how things go. I'm also scared about what happens with Pathfinders, but hopefully they just disappear.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I had a lot of fun, and I like some of the spicy takes. There's definitely some I'm curious about, and I just wish the new rules would be out already because I'm panicking with less than a week and a half before the rules drop, and then 1 week before Tampa.
I'm sure this episode is gonna age like fine wine. You know, people are gonna look back on this in like 3 weeks.
Turns
and be
out that Vespids really were S tier.
Kellen was right all along. You know.
I need more water. Don't worry, I got a second one down.
But yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you for calling in, and look forward to talking to you on future hot takes.
For sure, I'll keep an eye out for it.
Of course.
See ya.
See ya.
All right, everyone. So that looks like that's all of our hot takes for tonight. We're gonna log off here. Giacomo, is there anything that you want to shout out?
Yeah, elites, and of course you can find us on YouTube. This will be up on YouTube as well, or you can catch the VOD if you're still watching on Twitch later, whichever one works for you. Check out the Hobby Highlander. You know, join us on our Discord. So if you want to jump in future episodes, you know, you can go from there. It'll be a lot easier for y'all. How about you?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out Tabletop Mayhem. I think that my wife makes really good content. She put her YouTube videos on pause for a hot second to help with the All Valley Team Tournament. I also want to shout out Darcy Bono Creations. She just joined us on our most recent podcast where we talked about our time at Nova and with the Warhammer Insider event when we got to go play before anyone else. It was quite a fun time. If you guys want to know or find out more about that, and it's quite a hobby-centric episode because she is a great painter, and me and Giacomo are painting nerds. We do like paint. If you do like paint, again, check out Hobby Highlander. But outside of that, we're going to log off.
Yeah, all right. And don't forget to catch us on Instagram at Squad Games Entertainment. And we'll catch you next time.
Until next time, everyone. Thank
See ya.
you. I look like a bald dude, though. You know, I got to try and put a little bit more hair. It's a bald. That's a bald take.